Yeah. Everybody had a headline ready. Before the dust could even settle, they measure one decision like it carried my whole name. Some called it weakness, some called it pride. Some said I threw away everything I had built. Funny how strangers become experts the moment they see the last page of your story. No one saw the nights where the walls learned my breathing. No one counted how many versions of me collapsed before sunrise. You saw one choice, I survived 1,000. You only met the echo, not the scream.
If you wanted truth,
you could've knocked it.
if you wanted answers,
You could've stayed. You looked for someone to blame, not someone to understand. If one question had crossed your lips, maybe this silence would've sounded different.
if you wanted truth,
You could've knocked,
if you wanted answers,
you could've stayed. You looked for someone to blame, not someone to understand. If one question had crossed your lips, maybe this silence would've sounded different. I watch conversations invent memories I never lived. People stitch together pieces they prefer, leaving every uncomfortable truth on the floor. It's amazing how confidence can sound exactly like ignorance. How certainty can wear the face of someone who was never there. I stopped defending myself, not because they were right, because explanations given to closed ears only become more noise. The heart is loneliness, wasn't losing people, it was realizing no one noticed I was disappearing. Long before I left, you wanted a reason simple enough to fit inside a sentence. Pain is never spoken that language.
if you wanted truth,
You could've not,
if you wanted answers,
you could've stayed. You looked for someone to blame, not someone to understand. If one question had crossed your lips, maybe this silence would've sounded different.
if you wanted truth,
You could've not,
if you wanted answers,
you could've stayed. You looked for someone to blame, not someone to understand. If one question had crossed your lips, maybe this silence would've sounded different. Now I understand. I never needed your agreement,
I never needed.
your forgiveness. I never needed you to understand me.
I only needed
One person to ask why. The train had left long before I reached the platform. Still, I kept the ticket folded inside my coat like hope could rewrite schedules. I rehearsed your name in empty elevators, on quiet sidewalks, inside mirrors that never answered back. Every version sounded smaller than the silence I had been feeding for all those years. I thought courage would arrive like thunder. Instead it came as a whisper that almost missed me. I waited for the perfect moment, the perfect words, the perfect version of myself. Time never waited for any of them. If I'd spoken with a shaking voice, maybe that would have been enough. Now every sentence finds an empty chair. Every memory keeps your side untouched. Still, these words deserve the air. I waited for the perfect moment, the perfect words, the perfect version of myself. Oh, time never waited for any of them. If I'd spoken with a shaking voice, maybe that would have been enough. Now every sentence finds an empty chair. Every memory keeps your side untouched. Still, these words deserve the air. I used to believe late man worthless, but sunsets arrive late every day. And somehow they still make people stop. Maybe truth works the same way. Not to bring someone back, not to rewrite goodbye, but to stop pretending the story never happened. So tonight I won't ask if you're listening. I won't imagine another ending. I'll simply place every hidden word into the night where they always belong. I loved you, I was afraid. I should have said it sooner. The world doesn't change, neither does the past. But something inside me finally puts down the weight it carried for years. Some truths arrive too late to save a story, yet exactly on time to save the person who survived it. The room applauded before the promises even learned their own names. I smiled, not because I believed them, because I remembered how hope used to sound before experience changed its voice. Some eyes arrive already leaving, some handshakes disappear before your fingers let go. You can hear it if you survived enough goodbyes. I stopped asking who would stay. The better question became who was already gone while standing beside me.
Nothing surprised me anymore.
Not the polished lies, not the borrowed smiles, not the heroes who folded the moment. No one was watching, I wasn't becoming colder. I was finally seeing what had always been there.
Nothing surprised me anymore.
Not because I expected less, because I learned that truth
Always walks a few steps
behind performance. Yeah. There was a time I thought betrayal started with one decision. Now I know it begins quietly, a sentence. People never finish a laugh that doesn't reach the eyes. A promise repeated one time too many. The heart notices long before the mind admits it. I used to fight every disappointment, now I simply the door and let reality introduce itself.
Nothing surprised me anymore.
Not the polished lies, not the borrowed smiles, not the heroes
Who folded the moment?
no one was watching. I wasn't
Becoming colder.
I was finally seeing what had always been there. Nothing surprised me anymore. Not because I expected less, because I learned that truth
Always walks a few steps
behind performance. Yeah, yeah, yeah. People think wisdom arrives with answers. Mine arrives with patterns. The same excuses, the same applause, the same masks painted different colors, different faces, same fear. And strangely, that knowledge didn't make me loveless. It made me love without illusions, to forgive without forgetting, to care without becoming blind. The child inside me never disappeared. He simply learned that innocence doesn't have to die, it only has to stop. Mistaken appearances for truth. So no, nothing surprises me anymore. Not because the world lost its goodness, but because I finally learned that disappointment isn't the opposite of hope. It's the teacher that quietly shows us where to place it. They framed the moment like forever could fit inside a single flash. Shoulders touched, eyes forward. 3, 2, 1, perfect. The picture survived the conversation. Didn't years later, everyone points at that frozen smile. Look how happy you all were. Funny, no one remembers the silence that filled the car on the way home. No one hears the apology that never arrived. No one sees the hands shaking just outside the frame. A photograph knows light, it doesn't know what darkness waited after the shutter closed.
Smile means nothing.
A camera can collect faces, it cannot collect the weight behind them. Some memories wear bright colors, some hearts
Never did.
smile means nothing. Not every laugh belongs to joy. Sometimes it's only courage borrowing a familiar shade. I learned how to smile before I learned how to heal. People applauded the version of me that looked easiest to remember. No one noticed I had become an expert at disappearing without leaving. The hardest performances never happen on stages, they happen at birthdays, family dinners, graduations, weddings, every place where everyone says, say cheese. As if happiness could be summoned by a single word.
Smile means nothing.
A camera can collect faces, it cannot collect the weight behind them. Some memories wear bright colors, some hearts
Never did.
smile means nothing. Not every laugh belongs to joy. Sometimes it's only courage borrowing a familiar shade. One evening I opened an old box filled with photographs, thousands of smiles, hundreds of moments, almost none felt the way they looked. Then I found one. No pose, no audience, no perfect angle, just me sitting on the front steps after a long night, breathing. No smile, no performance, no reason to impress anyone. For the first time I recognize the person in the picture, because Pete doesn't always look happy. And the most honest smile I ever carried was the one that no camera ever captured. I carry a carefully built life, every wall measured, every answer practiced, every smile approved. Before it reached my face, people called it stability, I called it survival. There comes a moment when pretending becomes heavier than the consequences of honesty. Mine arrived without warning. No fireworks, no grand speech, just one sentence I could no longer keep inside. The room didn't explode, it simply changed. Some eyes stopped recognizing me, some voices forgot my name, some doors closed without making a sound. Truth caused everything, not because it destroys, because it refuses to live beside what isn't real. Truth costs everything, friends, comfort, old identities, but lies charge interest, and eventually everyone pays for a while. I thought I had ruined my own life. The calendar became quieter, the phone learned how silence sounds. Even mirrors looked unfamiliar. Who was I without the version everyone applauded? Then I noticed peace has a different kind of loneliness. It doesn't shout, it breathes slowly, like a house after the storm is finally passed. Truth costs everything, yeah, not because it destroys, because it refuses to live beside what isn't real. Truth costs everything, friends, comfort, old identities, but lies charge interest, and eventually everyone pays. I stopped counting everything that left and started
Counted everything that
no longer needed pretending. The conversations that became simple, the nights that finally let me sleep, the mornings that no longer asked me to become someone else. Then I understood the price was never the truth. The price was continuing to live as a stranger inside my own name. So yes, I lost people, plans, possibilities, entire chapters. But for the first time, when I locked my front door, I didn't leave anyone outside, because the person I had been hiding finally came home. The words were already waiting, perfectly arranged, every answer sharp enough to split the argument in two. I could have named every contradiction, every promise they forgot. 5 minutes after making it, I knew exactly what to say instead. I watched the moment pass by. They thought I had nothing, only I knew how much I chose not to spend. Some people don't ask questions to discover truth. They ask to defend the version they already decided to believe. Silence won again. Not because I was defeated, because victory means nothing when no one came to understand. Silence won again. Some battles only reward the loudest voice. I was searching for a bridge, they were building the stage for years. I replayed every conversation after it ended. My best replies always arrive too late for the room I used to hate. That now I almost smile, because those words were never late. They simply belong to someone who is finally learning that peace is better things to say. I stopped measuring wisdom by how well I could argue. I started measuring it by how little I needed to prove. Silence won again. Not because I was defeated, because victory means nothing when no one came to understand. Silence won again. Some battles only reward the loudest voice. I was searching for a bridge, they were building a stage. One evening I imagined winning, every point answered, every accusation destroyed, every face speechless. It felt good for exactly 3 seconds. Then I realized even in my imagination, nobody had listened. They had only lost, and somehow that wasn't the ending I wanted. So the next time the invitation to argue knocked at my door, I opened it, smiled, and let it leave without me. Because not every silence comes from fear. Some silences are built from self-respect. The loudest victory I ever lived made absolutely no sound. The first goodbye didn't feel like the last. It felt like the world had forgotten to keep its promises. I stood there counting footsteps that never returned, certain that love was supposed to stay. Years passed, different faces, different voices, different tables. Some people taught me how to laugh, some taught me how to survive. Some arrived like sunrise, others like storms. None of them stay long enough to become forever. Back then, I thought every enemy I had failed. Now I wonder, what if I was only reading the wrong page? Nobody stay forever, not because they stopped caring, because every soul carries its own season. Some arrive to build your childhood, some arrive to challenge your pride. Oh, some arrive only long enough to teach you how to say goodbye. Nobody stay forever. Maybe they were never supposed to. Maybe forever was never the assignment. Yeah. Hey. Maybe the miracle was that they came at all. I remember trying to hold every hand a little longer, as if tighter fingers could negotiate with time. But seasons don't apologize for changing, and rivers Never ask permission before continuing toward the sea. Neither do people one by one. The names became memories. The memories became lessons. The lessons quietly became the person standing here tonight. Nobody stayed forever. Not because they stopped caring, because every soul carries its own season. Some arrive to build your childhood. Some arrive to challenge your pride. Oh, some arrive only long enough to teach you how to say goodbye.
Nobody stayed forever.
Maybe they were never supposed to. Maybe forever was never the assignment. Maybe the miracle is that they came at all. Then one evening, I opened an old notebook. Inside were dozens of names, some I hadn't spoken in years. For a moment, I almost wrote the word lost, but it didn't fit. How can you lose someone who already gave you everything they came to give? So I closed the notebook, not with sadness, with gratitude, because I finally understood. No one walked away before finishing their scene. Some built the road, some carried the light, some taught the silence, some simply left behind a single sentence that kept echoing for the rest of my life. They didn't abandon me, they completed the chapter only they could write. And somehow that was always enough. Another badge, another dust, another name written underneath mine on a temporary door. I told myself this place would finally understand me. 6 months later, I was counting everything I hated about it. Another city, another rented room, another route I promised would become a beginning. I learned the streets, found new faces, built a version of myself that looked convincing from a distance. Then slowly, the same exhaustion, the same resentment, the same feeling that life had placed me in the wrong story. Different roads, same arrival, different voices, saying goodbye. I kept changing everything around me, but every new beginning carried the same passenger. Different roads, same arrival, different reasons, same escape. I thought I needed another life I never asked. If I was living this one the same way. I replaced friends whenever they got close enough to notice what I kept avoiding. Called it growth when I disappeared, called it freedom when I refused to explain, called every ending proof that I had chosen the wrong people. Maybe some of them were wrong, maybe some places were never mine. But one night inside a city that still mispronounced my name, I opened all the boxes I had never unpacked. Different addresses, different years, the same unfinished letters, the same apologies I had practiced but never sent, the same plans abandoned the moment they demanded patience. And there I was in every ending I blamed on someone else. Different road, same arrival, different voices, same goodbye. I kept changing everything around me, but every new beginning carried the same passenger. Different roads, same arrival, different reasons, same escape. I thought I needed another life I never asked. If I was living this one the same way. moment the truth felt cruel, like every failure had been waiting to pronounce my name. But responsibility is not a sentence, it is a key. And seeing the pattern doesn't mean you deserve every wound. It only means you finally know which part you can change. So I stay not forever, just long enough to answer one difficult conversation, long enough to finish what usually frightened me, long enough to stop calling discomfort a sign that I should disappear. Nothing outside me suddenly became perfect. The job was still hard, the city stayed loud, some friendships still ended. But this time, I didn't abandon myself before anyone else had the chance. I had spent years searching for another life, another room, another crowd, another version of the future. But the life was never asking to be replaced, it was asking me to enter it differently. I didn't need another world, I needed another way to walk through this one.
I thought the morning would sound different, like the city would somehow know what I had finally done. Years folded into one dream. Late nights, missed birthdays, conversations answered with maybe next time. I carried the finish line inside my chest for so long, I forgot how heavy hope can become. Then it happened, the call arrived, the contract, the number, the door finally opened. I stood there waiting for something, nobody clapped afterwards. The traffic lights changed on time, the first bus never slowed down. Someone complained about the weather. A child laughed across the street. The bakery unlocked its doors exactly like yesterday. Nobody clapped afterwards. The world didn't pause to admire my victory and simply kept becoming another ordinary day. For a while I felt cheated. Wasn't this supposed to feel bigger, louder, more unforgettable? I had imagined fireworks instead. The cashier asked, "Cash or card?" Life has a strange habit, it refuses to become cinematic just because our hearts are. So I walked home carrying everything I once believed would change me. The bag felt lighter than the years it took to fill it. Nobody clapped afterwards. Hey, not the strangers, not the buildings, not the sky. Success didn't echo, it whispered. Nobody clapped afterwards. And somehow that silence told me more than applause ever could. That night I sat alone, no cameras, no speeches, no audience, only a room that had watched every version of me. Almost quit, then I noticed something I had never seen before. For the first time in years, my mind wasn't rehearsing tomorrow. It wasn't trying to prove anything, it wasn't negotiating with fear. It was simply quiet, not empty, peaceful. And suddenly I understood why I had survived all those years. It was never for the applause, because applause lasts a few seconds. Peace sleeps beside you every night. The dream was never asking for witnesses, it was asking for honest
standing ovation. It only offered me another sunrise. This time I was finally able to watch it without wondering if I was enough. There was a sentence waiting at the edge of my lips, so close I could almost hear the future breathing. You looked at me like time had finally decided to stop running. The room forgot every sound, even the clock seemed afraid to move. I took one breath, just one, enough to change everything. Yeah. A phone started ringing, someone laughed outside the door. Footsteps crossed the hallway. You turned your head. I swallowed every word before it learned how to exist. Almost told you 5 seconds. Yeah. One interruption in an entire lifetime, built on what never happened. Oh, almost told you the silence didn't feel important until years later, when it became the loudest thing I remember. We kept talking about ordinary things. Yeah. Coffee growing cold, weather reports, plans for next week, as if my heart hadn't just folded the biggest truth it would ever carry. You smiled, I smiled back, two actors protecting the story neither of us could read. I convinced myself there would be another chance, another evening, another walk, another quiet room. Life loves that sentence. Later. It whispers it until later becomes never. Almost told you the silence didn't feel important, and didn't feel important until years later, when it became the loudest thing I remember. We kept talking about ordinary things. Coffee growing cold, weather reports, plans for next week, as if my heart hadn't just folded the biggest truth it would ever carry. You smiled, I smiled back, two actors protecting the story neither of us could read. I convinced myself there would be another chance, another evening, another walk, another quiet room. Life loves that sentence. Later, it whispers it until later becomes never. Told you 5 seconds, one interruption. One interruption, an entire lifetime built on what never happened. Oh, almost told you the silence didn't feel important until years later, when it became the loudest thing I remember. Sometimes I replay that afternoon, not to change it, just to wonder what kind of people we might have become if courage had arrived 5 seconds earlier. Maybe everything would have changed, maybe nothing would have survived. I'll never know, because history doesn't remember the words we almost said, only the lies built around them. Now when truth knocks, I no longer ask if the room is perfect, if the time timing feels right, if tomorrow looks safer, because perfection has stolen enough stories. The greatest lie I ever believed wasn't spoken by someone else. It was the quiet promise I made to myself. There will be a better moment. There wasn't it, there was only the one I let
Walk away.
The map was already drawn long before I learned how to read. Be successful, be respected, make us proud. They sounded like dreams, so I carried them without asking who they belonged to. Every step earned applause, every milestone collected another smile. People kept saying you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Funny, no one ever asked if I wanted to be there. I climbed every mountain pointed out to me. I reached every finish line someone else had painted, and every victory echoed like an empty room.
Borrowed dreams,
Borrowed victory,
borrowed definitions of a life.
well lived, I wore them like they were mine. Until one morning, they no longer recognize my name. Borrowed dreams,
Everyone
celebrated the arrival.
only I knew.
I had reached a place I never chose. I mistook admiration for purpose, approval for peace, busy days for meaningful ones. I wasn't lying, I was simply repeating a script handed to me before I understood I could write. Then one evening I found an old notebook inside a child's handwriting. Crooked letters, impossible drawings, wild ideas that made no practical sense. But every page was alive. I stared at them,
Trying to remember when I traded.
wonderful expectation.
Borrowed
dreams,
Borrowed victories
borrowed definitions.
of a life.
Well lived, I wore them like they were mine, until one morning
They no longer recognize.
my name. Borrowed dreams,
Everyone
celebrated the arrival.
only I knew.
I had reached a place I never chose. I don't blame my parents, they passed me the hopes they never had. I don't blame the world, it offered its loudest answers. I simply forgot that a compass can be replaced by applause if you stop listening to your own footsteps. So I folded every borrowed map, not with anger, with gratitude, because they brought me far enough to discover what wasn't mine. Then, for the first time in years, I asked a question no one else could answer. What would I build if nobody was watching? The room stayed silent, but my heart didn't. I never failed. Failure means missing your destination. I arrived exactly where the borrowed road was leading. The miracle was realizing I still had enough daylight to choose my own. My own. Curtain up, Monday morning, different face, same heartbeat. I know exactly which version of me belongs in every room. The confident one signs the papers, the funny one feels the silence, the patient one calls his family the fearless one. Post another smile, funny thing, they all look like me. Everyone performs,
Different audience,
different lines, different applause. Everyone performs, the
costume changes,
the voice changes, the eyes learn who they're supposed to become. Sometimes sometimes I leave a conversation wondering which version just walked away. I memorized expressions before I memorized myself. Learned how to be accepted long before I learned how to be honest. People said you're so authentic. I thanked them knowing they had only met today's character. Everyone performs,
different audience,
different lines, different applause. Everyone performs, the costume changes, the voice changes, the eyes learn who they're supposed to become. I don't blame any of us. Some performances protect children, some save marriages, some survive jobs, some simply help us make it through. Another Tuesday may be masked, aren't always live. Maybe sometimes they're bandages, but even the bandage must come off one day. Otherwise, you forget what the skin feels like. Last night I stood alone in front of no mirror, no camera, no audience, no expectations. I tried to introduce myself, silence, not because nobody answered, because I realized I've been introducing everyone else for years. Then it became clear, no stranger had ever asked me to become this many people. No friend demanded perfection, no room expected a performance as much as I imagined. The strictest judge never bought a ticket, he never sat in the front row, he never applauded. He lived behind my own eyes. All those years I thought I was acting for the world. The truth, the hardest audience was always waiting inside me. When the lights finally went out, nothing collapsed. The stage was still there, the city was still awake. But for the first time, I walked home without rehearsing tomorrow's version of myself. If someone read my life, they would find a few photographs, some dates, a handful of achievements, a version clean enough to fit inside a biography. What they wouldn't find are the mornings that almost defeated me, the conversations I chose to soften instead of win, the messages I deleted before they became another regret. No headlines for quiet courage, no trophies for invisible strength, no cameras when the hardest choice was simply to remain kind. Invisible victory,
no audience,
no spotlight, still they built everything.
people admire.
Today, invisible victories, the world remembers the mountain, only I remember every step that refused to turn around. Nobody applauds the apology that saves a family. Nobody records the afternoon you choose not to become your anger. Nobody notices the habit you quietly buried, the fear you finally named, the dream you protected by moving 1 inch instead of nothing funny. Those moments never looked important until years later, when I realized they had written my entire character. Invisible victory.
No audience,
No spotlight, still they built everything.
people admire.
Today, invisible victories, the world remembers. The mountain, only I remember. Every step that refused to turn around. I used to think success was something you could point at, a title, a house, a number, something visible enough to silence doubt. But life kept teaching the same lesson. The strongest bridges are hidden inside the concrete. Nobody sees them, everyone depends on them. Maybe people will never know how many times I almost gave up. Maybe they will never learn the names of the battles I survived without witnesses. That's alright. Some victories lose their beauty the moment they need applause to feel real. One day, someone asked me,
What are you most proud of?
I almost answered with everything the world could measure. Then I smiled, because none of those things had actually saved me. The greatest triumphs of my life were invisible, not because they were small, because they happened in the only place where no cameras could ever enter. The world will always remember the finish line, but my soul was built long before anyone knew there was a race. I never planned to become someone else. It happened, one small adjustment at a time. A quieter answer, a safer opinion, a smile that stayed a little longer than it wanted to. People like that version, so I kept feeding him. He opened doors, one trust made everyone feel comfortable. Funny, I don't remember exactly when he started answering to my name, perfectly pretending, so convincing. Even my own memory stopped asking questions. Perfectly pretending, every mirror recognized my face. None of them could tell me who was looking back. Oh, I became fluent in expectations. I could read a room before anyone spoke. I knew which laugh belonged where, which silence sounded acceptable, which dreams looked impressive enough to mention. People called it maturity, professionalism, confidence. Maybe sometimes it was, but little by little, the distance between who I was and who I performed became too small to notice, until one night everything went quiet. No messages, no meetings, no voices needing something from me. Just a room, patient enough to wait. I asked myself the simplest question I could think of: what do you want? Nothing came, not because the answer didn't exist, because I had spent too many years answering for somebody else. Perfectly pretending, so convincing. Even my own memories stopped asking questions. Perfectly pretending, every mirror recognized my face. None of them could tell me who Looking back, I used to believe identity was something you found like a destination. Now I wonder if it's something you uncover by removing everything that was never yours. One habit, one fear, borrow certainty at a time. Then I remember the jacket I used to wear when I was younger for years. It fit perfectly. One day it didn't. Not because the jacket changed, because I did still imagine living so long inside the same clothes that you forget. There's something you can take off, that was me. The performance was never who I was, it was only the costume that learned my shape. Everyone thought they knew me for years. I blamed them for loving the wrong person. Then I understood they had only met the one. I kept introducing the hardest truth. Wasn't that the world mistook me? It was that I had been shaking hands with my own costume for so long. I almost forgot there was still someone waiting underneath.
They told me get the money, like those 4 words could answer every question a heart forgets to ask. So I ran fast enough to mistake motion for direction. I measured mornings and overtime, friendships and postponed weekends, family dinners and maybe next month. Every sacrifice sounded responsible, every absence looked productive, funny. Nobody teaches you that a wallet can become heavier while a soul quietly disappears. Heavy pockets, empty evenings, heavy numbers, silent rooms. Tell me, what exactly did we become rich for? Heavy pockets, empty echoes, heavy chains, weightless hearts. Some fortunes cannot afford the things they miss the most. I met a man outside a corner store. Old jacket, scuffed shoes, coins, searching for each other inside his pocket. He smiled like someone who had nowhere he needed to escape from. An hour later, I entered a glass building, perfect suits, luxury watches, expensive perfume, eyes checking the clock more often than each other. Everybody owned everything, nobody seemed available to enjoy it. That's when the question stopped sounding like philosophy. It became a mirror, what is wealth? If your daughter learns your voice from old voicemails, what is success? If every celebration needs to be rescheduled,
What is winning?
if the person looking back from the mirror feels like a stranger you accidentally hired. Hey, heavy pockets,
Empty evenings,
heavy numbers,
silent rooms.
tell me what exactly
Did we become rich for?
heavy pockets,
Empty echoes,
heavy chains,
weightless hearts.
some fortunes cannot afford the things they miss the most. And I remember my grandfather, his hands never counted millions. They counted seeds, meals, birthdays, shoulders to carry, time to give away. He left very little money, yet somehow everyone still calls him the richest man they ever knew. Years later, I finally understood why some people walk lightly, even after losing everything, because value was never stored inside their pockets. It was stored inside the lives they quietly feel. I spent years trying to earn enough to feel secure, until I noticed the safest place I had ever lived was inside a conversation that had no price. The world keeps weighing people with scales made in numbers, but the heaviest things I've ever carried were never bills. They were promises, regrets, names, forgiveness, love that
stop asking,
how much do I have?
and finally asked, how much of me still belongs to the people I love? Everything changed, my pockets were almost empty. My calendar wasn't, my table wasn't, my heart wasn't. And for the first time I realized I had never been poor. I had only been measuring my life with the wrong weight. Doors almost closed, one step late, one quiet beat, then silence. I stood there, watching my reflection disappear behind brushed steel. 5 seconds, that's all it took to ruin what I thought was my morning. I sighed, checked the time, blamed the traffic, blamed myself, blamed the universe for always being just enough against me.
Miss Elevator,
Miss schedule, miss patience, miss smile. Funny how quickly we declare a moment our enemy. Miss
Elevator,
closed doors, open years, some delays, never explain what they quietly protected. While waiting, a stranger started talking, nothing important, weather, coffee, work. 3 months later, he became the reason I found a different path. Not because he changed my life, because he asked one question nobody else had ever asked. What if you're climbing the wrong building? I laughed, forgot the conversation until I didn't. The memories started arriving like elevators, returning to the same floor. The flight, I almost missed the job that rejected me. The apartment someone rented 1 hour before I called. Every disappointment had felt like a wall. Years later, most of them look more like direction.
Miss Elevator,
Miss schedule, miss patience, miss smile. Funny how quickly we declare a moment our enemy. Miss
Elevator,
closed doors, open years, some delays, never explain what they quietly protected. I used to think life moved in straight lines. Now I wonder if it whispers through interruptions, through waiting rooms, wrong exits, canceled plans, broken routines, small inconveniences that quietly rewrite entire futures. Maybe
nothing
magical was happening. Maybe there was no plan written somewhere above me, but there was one truth I could no longer deny. Every version of my life was built as much by the doors that opened as by the ones that didn't. Today when something arrives late, I still feel the frustration.
I'm still
Human, but I no longer rush to call it a mistake, because I've lived long enough to know that certainty only exists looking back with the elevator I failed to enter. Never told me why it left. Maybe it changed nothing,
maybe
it changed everything.
all.
Never know, and strangely I don't need some answers
Don't arrive,
to remove the mystery,
they arrive.
to teach us how to live without it. So now, when a door closes a little too soon, I don't always see an ending. Sometimes I simply wonder what kind of life is quietly waiting one floor above.
I collected wrong addresses, like souvenirs. Every new beginning sounded certain, until it didn't. Different uniforms, different passwords, different people calling me by different names. Each place promised this is it, each goodbye proved it wasn't. I learned how to unpack without believing I'd stay. I learned how to smile while quietly planning another exit. Wrong directions, wrong turns, wrong answers, wrong dreams. At least that's what I called them back then. Wrong directions, long roads, empty maps. Still somehow they carry me closer than I knew. It was the job that slowly taught me money could never replace meaning. The city that looked beautiful but never felt like home. The friendship I fought too hard to keep alive. The love that ended, not because we stopped caring, because we wanted different futures. Every ending left me holding another question. None of them looked useful until years later, when life started asking for answers. Wrong directions, wrong roads, empty maps. Still somehow they carry me closer than I knew. I used to think experience meant collecting success. Now I think experience is remembering what no longer fits your soul. You don't learn your place by standing still. You learn it by noticing how many places never felt like yours. Then one afternoon someone offered me the opportunity. I had spent years imagining strange things. I almost said no, not from fear, from recognition. For the first time my heart didn't have to negotiate, it simply knew. That's when every failure walked back into the room. Not to apologize, to introduce itself. The wrong job whispered, I taught you what work should never cost. The broken love smile, I taught you the difference between needing and belonging. The lonely city said, I showed you that an address can never become a home on its own. None of them asked to be erased, they only asked to be understood. I spent years calling them detours. Standing here, I finally see they were lessons. Learning my name, the road was never trying to confuse me. It was quietly teaching me the language I would need to recognize the place that had been waiting all along. I didn't arrive because I never got lost. I arrived because every place where I didn't belong taught me exactly how belonging feels. I used to think love would sound louder like cheers after a long race, like someone standing up just to say you did it. I waited for speeches that never came, for words big enough to carry everything I hoped to hear instead. Life answered in whispers, quiet applause. Never loud, never late, always there before I knew how to notice. Quiet applause, no spotlight, no standing ovation, just hands quietly building a place I could return to. My father never said, I'm proud of you. He only asked if I had eaten, if the drive was too long, if I needed anything. Back then those questions sounded ordinary. Now they sound like another language for love. My mother didn't memorize my achievements. She remembered which days I sounded tired. She never asked about success before asking if I was
with sleeping friends. Never toasted every victory, they simply kept a chair waiting. Even after I arrived late, nobody made a speech, nobody raised a glass, yet somehow I never walked into an empty room. Quiet applause, never loud, never late, always there before I knew how to notice.
Quiet applause,
No spotlight, no standing ovation, just hands
quietly building a place.
I could return to for years. I measured love by volume, by celebration, by visible affection. What a poor ruler. That was the deepest roots. Never make noise, the strongest bridges don't announce they're holding the brightest stars. Disappear every morning, still they never stop existing. One afternoon I found an old photograph, nothing special. No birthday, no graduation, no trophy, just all of us standing outside the house. No one looking at the camera,
Everyone
looking at each other. That's when it finally happened. I remembered 1,000 moments nobody thought were important enough to keep the ride home. After a hard day, to plate already waiting on the table, the message that simply read, drive safe. The quiet pause before someone asked, did everything go alright? No applause, no headlines, no audience, just people choosing me again and again without asking to be noticed. I spent years chasing the loudest applause, then I realized the people who love me most were never trying to impress me, they were trying to remain. And suddenly
every ordinary day
became the longest standing ovation I had ever received. Now, when the room falls silent, I don't mistake silence for absence, because I've learned the loudest love rarely raises its voice. It simply keeps the light on until you come home.